Hi everyone, in this video I will be discussing about constants. So before giving you the definition of constant, first of all let us write a program which will calculate the circumference of a circle. So let us write some boilerplate code, that is #include iostream. So this is the header file which will help us to perform input output by providing the objects such as cin in, cout, and then we will use the namespace command using namespace standard. So we will be using the standard namespace. So using this statement will help us to avoid writing std : all the time, right? Then we know that every C++ program begins its execution from main, so this is mandatory function. Now this is the starting point of every C++ program, and the ending point of a C++ program is return 0, right? So this return 0 acts like the exit statement actually. So even if you do not provide this statement, it is implicit. The compiler automatically provides this statement, right? So this is only the special case for main. For other functions whose return type is int, and if you do not provide the return statement there for an integral value, then you will get an error there. But in main, this is a special case, right? So let us focus on our business logic right now. So we need to calculate the value of circumference. So in order to calculate circumference, we need something called radius. So this radius, let us call it r. R is the variable which will store the value of radius. So if I consider, let's say, int, so this can store only the numbers such as 21. But what if the user wants to enter 21.123, this kind of numbers? So for these kind of numbers, we need to use the data types such as, so we need to use the data types which can handle floating point numbers. Generally these kind of decimal numbers are called your floating point numbers. So the C++ programming language provides 3 different data types for dealing with floating point numbers. First is your float, then you have something called double, and then we have something called long double. So float data type can store a certain amount of range for your floating point numbers. Double can store the range of floating point numbers which is greater than float, and long double is the data type which can store the largest value for floating point numbers in the entire C++ programming language. So if we need to deal with mathematical, whenever we are writing mathematical programs, it is always recommended that you should use long double, because we should be always remain in the right, we should always remain in the safe side, because we don't know that what kind of values user might understand. So we should always be ready for the best case, right, for the worst case, right, because user can enter any kind of floating point numbers. So let us use the data type long double. Now let me initialize this value of this radius with 0, because I will be taking the user input, and then after calculating the circumference, we need to store that value in a variable. Let's call it circumference CF. So this is just the short representation of circumference. So let's initialize this variable with 0 as well. Now if you see here, we can write our variables. If you need to define multiple variables, then we can write all of these variables in same line. That means the general syntax is, you need to provide the data type here, and then variable 1 comma variable 2 comma variable 3. So you can define n number of variables in the same line. So at the end of the last variable, you need to provide the semicolon, because you need to terminate your statement. So this kind of statement is called your variable definition. I've already told you in the previous video, right? So this comma is the operator which is separating this variables, right? So whenever you need to separate the variables, then we use this comma operator. So this v1, v2, v3, if there are n number of variables, each and every variable will have the data type, that is type. In the same way, if you see this variable r and cf, both are separated by comma and they are initialized with 0. So both of these variables will have the data type, that is long double, right? So now let us focus on our program. So we need to take user input. So for that, we need to give a message to the user that he should enter the number. So we will enter the number in form of radius. So we'll write the message, enter the radius. By this, user can understand that he or she needs to enter the radius of a circle, and then we will be taking the input of radius So that input will go in the variable that is R. Now in the last video I did not mention about this operator. So this you already know, this is the insertion operator. The purpose of this operator is to write the data on the output stream. Similarly, if you are writing something from keyboard, that is stored initially in the object called something called input buffer. So from that input buffer, Cin reads the data and stores in the memory address named R. So Cin will read your data from the input buffer and store the value in the variable R. So this operator is called your extraction operator, because it is extracting your data from the input buffer and storing that particular data in the memory location whose name is R. So that is the meaning of this statement, Cin R. Now if you want to read multiple variables in the same line, then what you can do, you can write some more operators. You can just keep on adding these operators. Let's say you are having variable v1, again you want to read variable v2, then again you want to read variable v3. So this is how you can read multiple variables in one line, right? So since we are reading here only one variable, so we need to put radius R. Now once the user has given the input, we need to calculate the value of circumference. So we can write here Cf equals to 2 pi R, right? So we cannot write like this, because since it's a programming language, you need to provide the multiplication symbol, that is asterisk. So if you see here, if I multiply this 2 pi R together, then it will generate the result of circumference, and that will be stored in Cf with the help of this assignment operator, right? Now if you observe here, this pi is unknown, right? This is unknown for us, so we need to define it. So I will take a variable again, long double, because pi is also your real number. So long double pi equals to, let's say, 22 by 7. So it is a better practice to put dot 0, because if you write simply 22 by 7, C++ will treat that number as integer value, right? So in order to treat it as floating point numbers, you need to provide dot 0 after the numbers that you are dealing with, right? So now let us print out the circumference. So I can write here, circumference is also called a perimeter, right? Perimeter equals to, now don't think that since I don't know the spelling of circumference, I am not writing here circumference, because it is lengthy word, that's why I am not writing it here, right? So if you want to print a variable, as I told you that we need to mention only the variable name Cf, and then at last we will print the new line. So this Cf will carry the circumference of the circle after this line number 16, right? And it will print our desired result. So let us compile the program. So I will write here G++, our file name is, let's see the file name, ls, our file name is cf.cpp. So in order to compile, we will write here G++ cf.cpp. Now if you hit enter, then you will get the executable file named as a.out that you have seen in the last few videos, right? Now what if I want to give the output file name according to my desire? So I am giving the executable file name my output. So this -o is the flag which tells the compiler that when you produce the executable code, then please name my executable code as my output. So the moment I hit enter, if my program doesn't contain any errors, right, then it will compile silently. Now if you are hitting ls and hit enter, after that if you see, this is your output file, that is your executable code. Now if I write /my output and hit enter, my output and hit enter. So okay, it is saying, okay, my spelling is wrong, that's why it is saying no such file, right? So if I write /my output and hit enter, so it is asking the radius. Now if I enter radius 7, so what should be the answer? So 2 pi r, 2 into 22 by 7 into 7. So 7 and 7 cancels out, the answer should be 44. So let's hit enter, so we get 44 as the answer. Now if the user enters value like this, let's say 8, and if I hit enter, then what is happening? I am getting the value as 50.2857. Now if I use integer data type here, then what will happen? Let us see. So if I recompile my code and execute it again, so in this case if I enter, let's say 8, so can you see the difference here? The answer is here 50.2857, but here the decimal value is truncated. That means our integer data type does not reads the value after the decimal point, right? After this decimal point, the values, whatever values are present, are ignored by the integer data type. So integer data type is capable of storing only integral numbers, not the floating point part, right? So in order to deal with floating point numbers, you can use float double or long double. It depends that how much precision do you need in your calculation. So depending on that. So generally it is suggested that if you are dealing with very large numbers, especially your mathematical programs, then you should be using long double. But if you are sure that your value will not increase too much, right, in that case you can use double, or if you are using even more smaller values, you can use even floating point data type. So in future videos I'll be discussing about data types in more detail. This was just to give you a fair idea that how can we write programs, simple mathematical programs. Now you see here, okay, let's come to the point which we are talking about, that is our constant. The main theme of this video is about constants. Now you see what is happening. So if I write pi equals to let's say 46, pi, this pi actually is the characters that are written for this. So pi equals to 46 and then semicolon. So this assignment statement will change the value of pi, right, which is very much undesirable. So now if I compile it again and execute it once again, so let me enter the value 7. So actually I expect that the answer must be 44, but here the answer is something else, right? So whenever your program executes successfully, but if you do not get your desired output, then this kind of error is called your logical error. Why? Because this is incorporated by the programmer. It is by no means the system or your programming language is having the fault. This is the programmer's fault. Now you see here, what is the problem? What problem is here in this program? So if anyone accidentally modifies this value of pi, then it will produce undesirable results, right? So just due to small errors, if you know the history, just due to small program errors, many programs have crashed, and due to which we had a loss of human life. Like there are many examples where during the launch of rockets and all, our systems failed, and by which we lost many great scientists, right? So in the similar way, in traffic control systems, in some of the programs, due to some small errors, the plane miss out their altitude, and due to which plane crash takes place. So you just think that due to small error or just due to a small negligence of the programmer, what all disaster can take place, right? Now in order to avoid the change in value of this variable pi, we need to provide a keyword, something called const. So const is the keyword which will mark this variable py as read only. So let us see what is the meaning. So if I save this code and recompile it, so let's see what happens. Now it is giving an error during the time of compilation. It is saying that, you can read this message in line number 16, right? Line number 16, this error is thrown. So it says that assignment of read only variable. So this is the error. This py variable is actually read only, and you cannot change. This variable is read only, you cannot write data in this. So this const data type, it marks the variable read only. So what is the purpose of const? So the const qualifier, this one kind of qualifier actually, marks the variable as a constant, or we can say read only. So this marks the variable as read only. That means you can read data from this variable, but you cannot write data. Like for a normal variable, if you see, we can read and write data both. We can do both the operations with this kind of variable. But in my memory location, the moment I write const before this particular variable, right, so this marks my variable as read only, due to which I cannot make changes. So this makes my program safe, right? So due to this keyword, what will happen if the programmer tries to make making changes, or if he is trying to assign a different value to a constant which is very much undesirable, right? So in that case, our compiler will throw an error. So this was all about your. Now if I compile my code after removing this line, so whenever we need to remove the line, okay, we can just comment it out, because comments, either it is single line comment or double or multi-line comment, these comments are ignored by the compiler. So compiler removes all these lines, right? Because this is redundant for your compiler, right? It is not important for the compiler actually, because it is not a executable statement, right? So that's why these comments are made for only for users or programmers to understand the code. Like I can write a code here, comment here, this calculates the circumference of the circle. So by reading this comment, the programmer who is not familiar with mathematics, he can understand that this particular statement calculates your circumference of the circle, right? So these all, any kind of comment you have, multi-line, either it is single line, all are removed by your compiler, right? So if I recompile it and run it again, so my code runs very well. So if I put the radius 0, then it gives the perimeter also 0. If I put negative numbers, then it gives the perimeter in negative. So mathematically this is wrong actually. So when I will be proceeding to the next module, I will be teaching you that how can you handle this corner cases and edge cases. That means we can give some limitation that we cannot take input for negative numbers, right? Because radius is always greater than or equal to 1. If the circle has to exist in the real world, so the radius of the circle will always be greater than or equal to 1, because radius is distance and distance is a scalar quantity. Okay, too much physics. So I hope that this program is clear. My agenda was to explain you the const qualifier, and I have explained you. And one more thing, if you see, I just told you that how can we write multiple variables for same data type. So in the last program, if you remember, I have written something like this: int n1, then int n2, and so on. So if I want to combine these two lines in a single line, then I can write something like this: int n1 comma n2, right? So this n1 and n2 both have the data type int, and since I haven't initialized these two variables, so this will contain garbages. That means any random value. It might contain 0 also, or it might contain any other random numbers, right? So this was all about this video. Hope you understand. If you have any doubt, you can drop your doubts in the comment section. I'll be happy to help you. Thank you.